Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 12:24 a.m. on this cold Sunday evening going into Monday morning. It is currently 33 degrees outside, but it feels like it's about 10 degrees outside. And since I'm thinking about it, I did get my snow last night. If you watched the end of the vlog, it started snowing. And then after I stopped vlogging, it continued to snow for a little while. And there wasn't tons of snow on the ground, but there was enough for me to take a picture of my front porch with some snow around it. So I was very excited about that. Got my prayers answered for being able to see my front porch with a little bit of snow. So I was really excited about that. Now I can take everything down and not be sad about it. Although I still will be kind of a little bit sad about it because it just looks so cozy up there and it's gonna look so empty. But I also don't want to go into like the middle of January, you know, with a Merry Christmas doormat. I need to get another doormat. I didn't even think about that. Because our doormat says Merry Christmas on it. So I need to get another doormat. Oh well, least of my worries. One night when I go to Meijer with Tanya Jean, I will grab a $10 or $15 more doormat that they have. They have some nice doormats at Meijer usually, so I'll just grab something that they have. Maybe even just a completely plain one. And we're counting down the days to the pool opening, which I think at this point is 148, I think, days until the pool opens. I can't wait. I'm very, very excited. So, Peter, what did you do today? Well, last night I listened to like an hour of the Misfortune book, and then I listened to like 2 episodes of the Up and Vanish podcast. I'm so obsessed with that podcast, you guys, that I kind of like don't want to stop listening to it. So it's really, really good. If you're looking for a true crime podcast, or if you've he references this Serial podcast a lot in the podcast. Like he'll say the Serial podcast was the one that kind of like put these true crime podcasts on the map, kind of thing, or the first really successful one. So I think I'm going to listen to that one next. Up and Vanished, I believe, has 3 seasons. He also interviewed these 2 women, these 2 reporters from Cincinnati, that they have one as well. I can't remember what it's called. It starts with an A. But each season is a different case. So I'm going to listen to that one too. Well, I have 8 podcasts like that I'm following right now. But I'm just going to listen to one all the way through and then start the next one and then start the next one. I can't remember what that one is called. But anyway, so I listened to that and then I got home. And then I watched part of I was hungry when I got home. So I've been making these bagel sandwiches where I have like an everything bagel, and then I put on onion and chive cream cheese, and then lettuce. I take like the crunchy hard part of the lettuce boats, and I put it down, I push it down, and then I take 3 pieces of Havarti cheese or Gouda. Last night I had Gouda. The last 2 times I've had Gouda. And I make this big bagel sandwich. So I had a bagel sandwich last night when I got home. And I watched like half an episode of That McMillions. That McMillions is a really good documentary series. And then I went to bed. And then I got up today and we went to brunch. And Alex had his turkey chili and he had the Cuban breakfast. We got there like 20 minutes before they closed, but we weren't the last ones there. We were walked out before there was this other table, this couple that they were just like sitting there talking forever. But they like came up to us and they're like, no hurry, we've got a lot of stuff to do, you guys, you know, whatever. So, but we were in and out of there real quick. And Alex had his turkey chili and with lots of croutons. And then he had Cuban breakfast and a cup of coffee and a coffee to go. I had the bagel you can't refuse, minus the bacon, add herb cream cheese, and add herb cream cheese and horseradish. It was so good today. Like, it's always good, but like sometimes it's like especially good. Like the mix of like the herb cream cheese with like the white cheddar and the horseradish is just like perfect. And today it was just perfect. I love a really, really good omelet. I was actually talking to her about the vegan omelet, because they have a vegan omelet there. And she was like, the next time, this is our server that we know real well. She was like, the next time that you come in, she was like, I'm going to get you the vegan omelet. You're going to love it. It's so good. And I was like, okay. Which forever, this server that used to work there, he doesn't work there anymore, but he used to. He always wanted me to try the gluten-free waffle. He was like, you have to try the gluten-free waffle. It's delicious. And because I always saw it like on the menu, like they had this waffle. And he was like, don't get the regular waffle, get the gluten-free waffle. It's so much better. And I was like, okay. So then, after he left, I tried it it was like the week after he left. I don't know why, but I tried it and it was so good. It was like so fluffy and light. And I got it for like weeks on end. I would get the gluten-free waffle with butter and syrup and a side of potatoes and an orange juice, and it was really, really good. But today I didn't get that. And then the coffee today, the flavored coffee, I always get the flavored coffee. Alex just gets the regular coffee, was caramel. So anyway, I asked him what he wanted to do afterwards. Sometimes, like, if I'm not going to make videos or anything, and I wasn't sure yet if I was going to make videos, but I didn't think that I was going to. Sometimes we'll go walk around the mall or something like that, because it's right in the mall. Like, Patashu is right here, and the mall is right here. You can see him, like, passing the mall right now. And then there's also strip mall over there, Crumble Cookies, where I go. So anyway, so I'll show you. Here's the mall. There's Maggiano's that I get carry out from. And then Patashu is right down this street right here. Well, you can't see it, but it's right down this street right here. And so it's right next to the mall. It's actually right around the corner from Barnes & Noble. So sometimes we'll go to the mall, sometimes we'll go to Barnes & Noble, and I was like, do you want to do anything? And he was like, I just really kind of want to go home, I'm tired. And I said, okay. So he wanted to watch TV in bed and just kind of relax. So we got home, and I sat there for a second. I said, I think I'm going to go listen to a little bit of my audiobook and the podcast. Well, I called and talked to Tanya Jean and asked her if she wanted to get a fountain pop, and she was like just finishing up work, and she was really tired. She had 32 dogs that went home today, so she was like, I'm really tired, I'm just going to relax at home. And I said, okay. And so we talked for a little bit, and then I listened to 3 episodes of the podcast, and then I was like, okay, I need to listen to some of this book, which is so, this is how good this podcast is, okay? When I am willing to put misfortune on the back burner, and this is a good misfortune, okay? It's called Swamp Sweets, it's called. And it's good. I'm 3 hours into it already. So, but when I'm willing to put a misfortune book on the back burner to listen to a podcast, you know the podcast is good. I've got to order some more of this lip balm because I'm almost out of it. So I listened to like 3 episodes of that, and then I listened to like a half an hour of, maybe more than that, because I was gone for a while. What was Alex watching when I left? He was watching something. And then when I got home, he was just finishing up that Sex and the City show when I got home. So I was like doing some stuff on the computer, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna lay down for a little bit. And so I laid down about 7, and I slept till like 10. I had a really nice nap. It was so cozy, and Alex was watching some shows, and I was like, the dogs were sleeping next to me. They were being so sweet tonight. Little Tucker was sleeping on his comfort blanket with his little lady right next to him. He was so sweet. So anyway, I had a great nap, and I woke up, and I was like hungry. I was like, I'm really hungry. So I had bought a frozen DiGiorno's rising crust pizza, and Alex was like hungry too. So I said, I think I'm gonna make this pizza. Do you want any of it? He was like, yeah. And he was like, how much of it are you gonna want though? Because I'm like, he was like really hungry. And I said, I only want like a piece or 2. You can have the rest of it, babe. So I made this frozen pizza. I also ate some chips and dip that I had bought for like New Year's Day, but I didn't eat any of them. So I ate some of those chips and dip. And then Alex was like, where are all those Ruffles? Did you eat them already? I go, what? He goes, the wavy chips, because I didn't actually get Ruffle brand. He goes, where are all the wavy chips? I said, they're in there. He goes, you ate them already? I said, no, they're still in there. I put them in the closet. He was like, oh, okay. I was like, were you gonna eat the chips and dip? Because like, I ask you, this is what, does your husband or wife or partner do this? Like, you go to the store and you're like, hey babe, do you want anything? No, I don't need anything. Nothing, I'm going to the store. Anything that you possibly want for this, okay, because I said the grocery store's gonna be closed, you know, on Saturday probably. So I thought the grocery store was closed on the 1st, but anyway, I think they were. I don't know if they were or not. But anyway, I knew that most restaurants were closed. I was like, is there anything that you want? No, I'm good. I go, we're just going to be sitting here watching like movies and TV shows and stuff. There's nothing that you want. Well, if you can find a bag of veggie chips. Okay, but here's the thing. Alex only likes the veggie chips. He doesn't like the veggie sticks. And every store usually has the veggie sticks, not the veggie chips, okay? So when I went to the grocery store, they didn't have any of the veggie chips. So I was like, you don't want anything else? No, I don't want anything else. I said, okay. You know, I spent $100 with my husband for groceries if he wanted stuff. So I don't get anything for him. Well, then I have he'll say something like, oh, I have leftover, you know, something in the fridge from like 4 nights ago that he can eat if he wants to. But then he's like in the pantry standing there, and he's like, we don't have anything. And I'm like, oh my God, like I just asked you 2 days ago if you wanted anything, you know? So I just let him like look through the closet now and find something. But I was like, I said, you can have the rest of this pizza because I don't want. He was like, are you sure? He was like, are you absolutely sure? I was like, yeah, I'm full. Like, I had the chips too. So I watched a little bit of that, and then Boo Radley was being so sweet. Alex took them out, and usually when he goes back upstairs, the dogs run upstairs because they love to be in bed. And Boo Radley was like burrowing in his bed for a second, and then he came over and he just like jumped right up on the chair with me, which he like never does. Like when Alex is upstairs in bed. Oh my God, okay, I'm waking up. Like Boo Radley never does that. He usually is like goes to his house, or he goes up, if one of us is in bed, he's like in bed with us. So, but if we're like one's upstairs and one's downstairs, well, unless it's Alex downstairs, because Alex, like Tucker, will have Tucker and Boo, and it's like, they like to sit down there. I think it's because he's like not home during the week, and so when he's home, they love to be around him or something. But Boo Radley was being so sweet to me tonight. He just laid there with me while I was watching this McMillian show, and so yeah, I'm on the 3rd episode. I'm almost done with the 3rd episode of it. And then I don't know what I'm going to watch next, documentary-wise. I might not watch a documentary. I might watch just like a show. I still need to go back to Manifest and start watching that show again, since they put like another series out, another season out, and like they're making a closing video of it. So I need to go back and watch that. I mean, the acting was so bad and the storyline was so cheesy, but it was kind of good, honestly. It was like cheesy, addictive television. I made tonight, from that crazy coffee K-Cups, I made White Christmas. And oh, that's the other thing I did. I just got on Amazon and I bought a bunch of office supplies. I think I'm gonna make a video about it on Wednesday because I got real excited ordering this stuff. And so, I bought 2 planners, and they're completely different planners. And then I also have this thing that Tanya gave me, so I may show that stuff. Tomorrow, depending on if I get up too late or not, and I can get everything done, I am planning to go through and show all of the Christmas presents that I got in the P.O. box. I was waiting to make sure that everything had come before I did the video, because I didn't want to do the video and then somebody say, well, I sent you something, and you know, so I waited, and I feel like by now I think it's pretty safe that I've probably gotten everything. So I have it all in a box ready to show everybody what it is, which some of them I haven't opened yet because I wanted to wait, so I'm real excited about that one. I know that there was like a gift that the Vloggerinos put together for me, because Matt reached out to me and told me that. And I think he was like the one that shipped it, because he sent me a picture of it and said here, not of what's inside, but I have not opened that one. I'm saving that one for tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. And you guys, you didn't have to do that. That was really sweet. So I'm doing that tomorrow, and then I have on my list 3 different drama videos I can make. I'll either combine them into 1 or 2, or make, there's no way I'll make 3 different drama videos, but, and then I'd like to make videos on all of my channels tomorrow. But it's like each of my videos that I want to make is pretty long. Like my booktube video that I want to make is like the best books of 2021 that I read. But I'm gonna have to like, this thing is like, I need to buy a new one of these. But I have to like go through every book that I read and like write it down and figure out where I'm gonna rank it and all that kind of stuff. I have no idea what my favorite book of 2021 was. Listening to this podcast last night, I was thinking to myself, like, there were a couple podcasts that I listened to that I don't even really remember the story now. Like, I think if I looked at it, like, and you read me the description, I'd be like, yeah, I listened to that one. Like, there was the one about the girl that went to college in California that she went missing. I don't remember what that documentary was called off the top of my head, but she had like gone to Hawaii for like a camp. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Which one that one was? And then I remember there was the one that's called like Orange something that I listened to. I don't really remember what that one was about. I remember I didn't like that one as much as the other one. I think I listened to that one right after I listened to John Brown's Body. Oh my god, it does this every time. Now where is it at? On here. Oh. My audiobook. It was playing. It's like a half an hour ahead of where I was. John Brown's Body, or Tom Brown's Body. That one was really good. That was the first one that I listened to. And that was actually, I found it like on this list of like the best podcasts of 2021, and that was like one of 6 that they listed. So I'm really glad I listened to that one. I think the list was made up by actually like NPR or something like that. That one was really, really good. And then yeah, I don't remember. Isn't that so funny? I was sitting here and I was like, Orange Tree. It was something Orange Tree, and it was the name of the condo. But I don't remember what that one was about. Somebody was killed. Oh yeah, I do remember that one. That one was about. It was about the girl. They found her in the bathtub or something. I don't remember how that one ended though. Yeah, I don't remember how that one ended at all. And that guy and that girl were like cutting her up. I think there was something about, oh, they went, yes, and that girl, and they went to, now I'm like remembering it, and they went to like Mexico, and all that kind of stuff, and they took the pictures when they were at the hotel, and then they were like extradited back here. I remember, I was like trying to figure this out the other day. I was like, which one was it where then I saw like a follow-up, and the girl like talked to somebody, was interviewed by somebody, and she was really angry, and she was like, I've moved on with my life, and blah, 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 whatever. And I can remember listening to this, and somebody like hit her up, one of the people that was interviewing her like hit her up on Facebook, and so she sent her these like messages or whatever, and just leave me alone, and I've taken responsibility for my actions, I'm trying to move on now, and all this kind of stuff. She was real angry, because I can remember thinking to myself, you killed this girl, or you covered up for it, and you've moved on with your life. That's nice that you have that option, when, I mean, her family is still suffering and she's not alive anymore, you know? That's the Orange Tree one. I really do not remember what the name of the one was with the girl that went missing in California. But that one was really good. That one was really, really good. I mean, they're all of them really sad. Well, the majority of them are really sad because the ones that I listen to typically are ongoing cases, cold cases that they haven't solved yet. So it's like these people are still missing or gone, you know? It's like that Amanda Freeman and Lori Bible from that, what do you call it? That Hell in the Heartland. Like, nobody knows where they're at to this day. So sad. I'm kind of surprised in situations like this. I mean, I know that we're dealing with some really, really sick individuals. I get that, right? So maybe I'm asking for too much remorse, but it kind of surprises me that you know, when people like die when they're older and stuff, that we don't see more people come out and like they've left letters or something saying, I just want the family to know that this is what happened, or, you know what I mean? I guess it's really bizarre to me when you see people like the Golden State Killer and you find out that he has kids and that he was in relationships and that people said, oh, he was a normal guy, he was a nice guy, we had a good relationship, good friendship, you know? And then it's like, okay, so you had the capacity for humanity. Like, you're not entirely a sick human being, right? Like, I mean, you are a sick human being, but you either have the ability to fake it because you're a complete psychopath, you know, sociopath, whatever. Well, psychopath if he's homicidal, but like, you know, you're completely out there, so yeah, obviously you can fake it. But are you telling me that not one of those moments that he ever had, seeing his child graduate from high school, holding a grandbaby, a first kiss, anything, that he didn't have one true emotional moment in his entire life? I don't buy that, right? Okay, so if you can determine that, then you have to be able to have some kind of emotional response to the fact that you took a life, not to mention several lives, and, you know, did all these horrible acts to people, to then, like, not want to talk about it or take any response. I mean, they already have it. They already know that he did it, right? So it's like, at this point, I don't know. And then when you do hear people come out and talk about it, they're very gloating about it. You know, if you've ever seen these interviews with like these serial killers or these hitmen and stuff like that, they gloat about it to some degree, you know? And it's so bizarre to me. It's just like, I just can't wrap my head around it. I really can't. I want to say congratulations to Amy Slayton, who announced that she is pregnant. Tonight on social media. She posted it on Twitter and on Instagram. I think yours truly just predicted that about 4 days ago. Completely out of the blue. Cheers. I will book your psychic appointments. Whoever wants one, I'm here and I'm available. $299. It will be interesting, though, if those start coming true. Oh, man. Tomorrow, my goal is to get a lot of stuff done. I saved the Christmas trees until tomorrow. I might save them until Wednesday, in all honesty, because... No, this is not an excuse, but maybe kind of. I just think they're so homey. And the one in the bedroom, I really haven't been turning on very much. So tomorrow, I might just keep it on for a while I'm like doing stuff around the house. And then the downstairs one, I have my literature group tomorrow night. So I do that like on my computer or from my phone, but like right on my computer there, we do like a Zoom thing. Zoom. So, yeah, I may, so I can have it plugged in and have candles lit and stuff while I do that tomorrow night. I may keep it up. And then Tuesday, I have my home group meeting, so I'll be in a hurry on Tuesday getting stuff done. So there's no way I can like do all of that on Tuesday, plus make the videos I want to make and stuff. So that means that leaves me Wednesday, which Wednesdays are nice because I usually have like a freer, longer day on Wednesdays. And so I can take the trees down then. And the front porch. So, and the trash comes on Thursday, so I'll know how much I can put into the trash can. Do you want to hear something so nice? So, our neighbors next to us, they have a lot of trash. But, like, our neighbors across the street, I mean, like, most of these people are just, like, older, like, individuals or couples. And so they don't have a lot of trash. I don't know why we always do, but we do. And I'm cleaning stuff out, so that's part of it. So, but, like, our trash last week was, like, overflowing on the top. And, like, the lid was closed. We like this square trash can that, like, you know, you can push. Everybody in the neighborhood has the same one. They, like, the garbage company, like, supplies you with the trash can and recycling bin and stuff. So, anyway, ours was, like, way overflowing. Which it doesn't really matter because it, like, the truck comes by and it picks it up with these things. And, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not human beings that pick up the trash anymore. It's, like, the guy drives up and then it's, like, a forklift kind of thing, right? As long as everything's in the trash can, it's fine. So, we did something that night. I can't remember what we did. But when we left, I, like, joked and said... On Wednesday, I said, oh my God, or was it when we were coming back? It was when we were coming back, and I was like, oh, no. Alex had put the trash out, and the trash was, like, so full, and I noticed it that night when I was leaving. And then, where am I at on time? I think I'm at, like, 29 minutes and 32 seconds, I think, if I can see correctly. So, when I was vlogging that night, like, I came home and it was, like, really late. or I was taking the dogs out and it was really late or something, and our neighbor's across the street, he gets up really early. He gets up at like 5. And so I noticed that our trash can was like less full than it had been. So like, and we had this like big bag sitting on top of the trash can kind of thing, right? It stopped. So I was like, because one day he said to me, he was like, hey, like, we never have any trash. We only have like one bag that we ever put in there. So if you ever need to use our trash can, because I notice yours is overflow. I mean, who notices that? I guess our neighbors do, right? He's like, if you notice that ours is overflowing, or he said, if yours is overflowing, just feel free to put it in our trash can. We don't mind, right? And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. Thank you. But I've always, like, ever since then, like, I think it's really nice that he offered, but I feel like that's kind of a weird burden, so I haven't done it. So anyway, that night, like, I came home from vlogging or something, I don't know. But, like, our trash can was diminished by quite a bit, so that the lid would almost, like, close all the way. And, so I went across the street. I was taking the dogs out, and I went across the street, and I just like poked into his trash. Sure enough, he had our trash bags in there. He had taken them out of our trash can and put them in his. Wasn't that so nice of him? I was talking to my neighbor Laura, and she is so funny. And her grandma is the one that like walks around the neighborhood, and her grandma is the one that said, "The two nice homosexuals I've never met." If you don't know the story, so. There was the only person, like, my mom, like, if you consider, like, when my mom lived in there and now me living there, like, we've lived there the longest in the neighborhood, except for one person. And that's my neighbor Laura's grandmother. So, she has been in the neighborhood forever. And I actually really like her now. She's just very hardcore and, very, like, just... She's just really funny, but she's kind of like, and she can't really hear that great. She never really has. So like when you're talking to her, she doesn't like, you're having kind of an interesting conversation, but she's really, I like her. So, I mean, she's really grown on me through the years. My mom and her like really would go at it sometimes. And she used to be kind of like the one that would walk around the neighborhood and like take care of everything, like the carriage lights and everything, and make sure that people's yards were set. But she doesn't really do that anymore because there's like there's a lot younger people that are not younger, but like in their 60s that are doing that now. And so anyway, she was like, we were at the pool one day. It was Alex and I. It was just us and her and one other older lady, and they were sitting at the other end of the pool, and we were sitting there, and Alex was like laying down. We were like both laying down, like tanning, This was like when we first moved in, like the first summer. Okay, I was telling this story, and then I said the other neighbor's name. So anyway, she's talking to this other woman, and she's like, right there is Peter Monn. And she's like real loud, and she's like, his mother was a bipolar manic depressive. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And then she goes, is this car coming over to this lane? She's like, she said something like, that's his boyfriend Alex, or that's something Alex, or that's his boyfriend or something, I don't know. And she goes, and at this point, Alex like hadn't said anything, hadn't laughed, hadn't responded or whatever. And she goes, two nice homosexuals I've never met. And Alex just like starts losing it, right? He's like laughing, he thinks it's so hilarious. So, yeah, welcome to the neighborhood. But anyway, she was telling me that. She has these red and green lights, my neighbor. She has these red and green lights on her garage door, and they're real cute. Like one's red, one's green, right? And she said something. She's like, "Yeah, Grandma didn't like the Halloween one, so I don't know how long the Christmas ones are gonna last, or something like that." I remember when my mom first moved in there, my Uncle Dave was really, really good friends with this guy that lived in our neighborhood, and he actually lived in there for a long time. And then his wife died. And when his wife died, like a year later, he moved out. And then he recently moved back in, but he didn't move into the condo that he had lived in all that time was sold to somebody else. So he didn't move into the same condo. He moved into a different condo. And, but I can remember my Uncle Dave and him would walk like every day together. And they would walk by, and if my mom was outside, they'd be like, hey, how are you? You should come walk with us. I remember, I shared this on here. I think I shared this when it happened, because this is just, that probably would have been the first year that I vlogged, maybe. Because I feel like she passed away like 5 years ago. You guys, I had to make for my playlist that I put all of these vlogs into last night, I had to put the playlist, or today I had to put the playlist for 2022, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this, the 6th year. I don't know how long his wife has been passed away now, but I was sitting out there one day in the summer, and he used to walk his dog in this leash, which the dog has now since passed away. And I said to him, I remember the dog had he had adopted this dog, and the dog had no tail. And I remember that he told me that it was because the previous owners had left him out in the cold, and the dog's tail had like frostbitten, and like they had to take it off. Isn't that so sad? There's some really sick people out there. But anyway, I remember seeing him, and I said, you don't walk him on a leash anymore. Because he was like always real adamant about walking him on a leash. And he was like, nope, not anymore. And I said, what happened? Like, and this guy was like super close with my Uncle Dave. So this would have been after my Uncle Dave passed away. And he said, when my wife died, he said, if she's free, I want the dog to be free too. So he's never walking on a leash again. And I remember by that point I had like walked down the walkway in the driveway, and I was standing there talking to him. He was in the street, and I was kind of like in the driveway. And I'd known him for a long time, right? Like he was a friend of the family's. And I said, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? And I'll never forget, he just looked at me and like tears in his eyes just welled up. And he said 50 years is a long time to love somebody. He said something first, like he's like, no, I'm not doing okay. And he said 50 years is a long time to love somebody. I really honestly, like, I don't know. I've learned a lot from marriage counseling that, like, the things I say that I believe, that I'm with my husband because I choose to be, not because I depend on him or I need him, which thankfully I've gotten out of that codependent way. That being said, I can't imagine my life tomorrow if it just all of a sudden tomorrow Alex wasn't in my life anymore. I just really can't, And I also think, although I think the pain of a breakup is very, very real, it is totally different than the pain of death. It's a different grieving process that you go through, I think sometimes the pain of going through a breakup, I don't know that I think it's, I've probably said something different once sometime, but I don't know that I think it's harder, but I think it's lingering longer sometimes, because you can see that person, especially if it's like a long-term relationship, you can see that they especially with today, with social media and all this kind of stuff, you can see that, well, this person's moved on and they're in another relationship, and you can see their Facebook status and their pictures on Instagram, and, hear about it from friends, and if you live in a small town, then everybody knows, and it's like on and on and on, I think it's hard. But I still don't think it has the finality to it of like a relationship that you've had with somebody that you've been with for 30 to 50 years and then they passed away, I just can't even imagine. I'm like, how long do I have to live for Alex and I to be together 50 years? Okay, so we just celebrated 10 years. So I'd have to stay alive for another 40 years, which means that I would have to be 89 years old. I mean, it could happen, but most likely it's not gonna happen. But it could. I know people are always like, be hopeful, Peter. Okay, I'm gonna be hopeful that I'm gonna live to be 89. I don't know, my dad's 81. Still pretty night outside. There's really no clouds in the sky. You can see the stars and stuff. It's really pretty. We were watching that movie last night, Don't Look Up, and at one point, you know, you can see the comet moving through the sky. And Alex goes, if you looked up and you saw that, well, I said, I would freak out. I would freak out. Like, seriously. Are you kidding me? This coffee is so delicious. My plan is to finish the Misfortune book by Tuesday and then start the true crime book, which Mel said it was like 13 or 14 hours, 12 or 14 hours, but I looked and it's 10 hours and 44 minutes. So, it's not as long as I thought it was. And then I'm going to start that on Wednesday, and my plan is to finish that by Sunday, well, obviously. If I finish it early, I'm going to listen to a Tanya Kappas book because it's short. And I think that's what I'm going to do for each week, because if I keep to my schedule, my plan is to listen to 2 books a week, and then if I get those 2 books done, because I'm sure sometimes I'll go way over that, right? And I won't get the books done in that week period, but I would like to stay stuck to that. But if I finish one, I think I'm going to listen to a shorter one. Like those Tanya Kappas books are mostly around 5 hours or less. The Tanya Kappas books are the ones that are like the campsite books that she went to go live in the camp. I like them as much as I don't know if I like them as much as the Misfortune books. They're not as developed, but the characters are fantastic. They're just not as long. You know, they're half the length of a Misfortune book, so. And then the next one's called The Third Rainbow Girl, I think, is what the true crime book is called. And then I'll probably do like a week of, well, I want to listen to that book that Tanya told me to listen to. And I also want to listen to The Whistler by John Grisham, because I want to read the second book that just came out, which is the sequel to that. I don't know what it's called, but it's on the bestseller list right now. So I want to read that. I really like John Grisham, and he's somebody that I forget about reading, you know. I read Camino Island and Camino Winds. I really liked Camino Island. I did not love Camino Winds as much, but I read this whole article last night on how he came up with the idea, and I thought John Grisham was sober. That's why there's a lot of sobriety and alcohol in his books and stuff like that. And I read this whole article about, he and his wife had been together for 36 years, first of all. But, 36 years at the time that the article was written, which I'm sure was in the last couple years. So, I think it was in the last 5 years the article was written. So he's probably been together with her now 36 to 40 years. But, he said that he is not an alcoholic, and that he hasn't really gotten close ever, but that there are so many attorneys, and this is so true, men and women, that struggle with substance abuse issues, specifically alcoholism, that a lot of high stress, high profile jobs people really do. In fact, so anyway, he said that's why he included it in the books, because it's like a reality within the legal world. What's interesting about that is, there are like whole meetings that are dedicated in Indianapolis just for attorneys, you know, that are in recovery. And I'm sure everywhere in the world there are meetings just for attorneys, you know. But anyway, I thought that was interesting that he said that in this interview. But I want to read that one. I can't remember what the sequel is called. The first one's about a judge, like a corrupt judge. And then I also want to listen to the one that Tanya told me to read. When I talked to her about it today, she was like, oh my God. I said, was it really that good? She goes, it was so good. So I was like, okay, I'll read that. But then I think the following week, I'll listen to the Joan Didion book and Interview with the Vampire, because those are the books for Peter's book club. And then depending on when we are having the book club is when I'll listen to the Bonnie and Clyde book, which is 452 hours. No, I'm joking. It's 16 hours and something, but... So I picked The House of Gucci, which was like 18 hours, and not a lot of people liked it. They didn't really like it. And Mel definitely didn't like it. So then Mel picked Bonnie and Clyde, which I have a feeling will probably be really good. I mean that sincerely. But I said to her, girl, this book is like, well, this is what happened. So, she had said something about reading it a couple months ago for her birthday month. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I said, but can we like maybe push it to January, because I'm like trying to get my books for the year done, and like that's a really long book. And she was like, yeah, no problem. So that's how we decided on it being the book for January. I'm actually excited about reading it because I don't really know anything about Bonnie and Clyde, and I feel like I should. You know, being one of the co-pilots for a True Crime Book Club, I should probably know something about Bonnie and Clyde, don't you think? So anyway, I am really excited about reading it, and this is supposed to be like the comprehensive book of things that people don't even know about them, right? Like the real true story about like what really happened, and that they really weren't that great of like criminals, and people like it made it out, like the press made it out like they were robbing all these banks and stuff, when really they were robbing like filling stations out in the middle of nowhere, because they were just really not that great of criminals. So I'm excited about reading it, but their love story is like what's supposed to be like very true, very real. I've never even seen the movie, you guys. I think I've seen like bits and pieces of the movie Bonnie and Clyde. Faye Dunaway and who is it? Warren Beatty? I don't know. I think it's Faye Dunaway and Paul Newman. I don't know who it is in there. But anyway, I do want to watch that because I feel like I should. But anyway. So but I joke with Mel because that book is so long. So I always say something like 451 hours. Knowing damn well that I picked The House of Gucci, which was 18 hours long. But I did say to Mel, I said, going into 2022 after this book, I think we need to pick shorter books that are like 10 hours or less, and we need to pick like true crime that you can get in the bottom row at the grocery store. Like, we don't need to be reading any of this fancy stuff anymore and thinking, we need to be reading real true crime, okay? Cases that people want to solve, they want to talk about. That's what we need to be reading. We need to be reading serial killers, and we need to be reading about, that one chick, Jody, that supposedly killed her husband, and all that kind of stuff. That's what we need to be reading in a True Crime Book Club. And honestly, when we do, we get more people on the live streams and more people read those books, because that's what they really want to read. When we get fancy and I think we should read something like The House of Gucci, don't nobody want to read all that. They just don't. That's just the truth. Oh, anyway, I'm going to get off here now, you guys, and end this vlog a little early today. The last couple vlogs have been long, and I know people are catching up on them, so I'm going to get off here now, but I hope that you guys are having a if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I hope that you're having a magically amazing beginning of 2022. I hope that you are refreshed, rejuvenated, renewed, and relaxed for the week ahead as we go into the first full week of January. Counting down the days to 2023. This is going to be a great year. I know this is going to be a good year. At least I hope this is going to be a good year, and I have faith that this is going to be a good year. So anyway, we have a lot of fun, simple things to look forward to this year. Front porches and swimming, I was going to say swimming holes. That would be fun, wouldn't it? But front porches and decorating Christmas trees and all that stuff. So anyway, another year of simplicity and gratitude. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Oh, and for those that need to hear it, and those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.